component, directive, services, pipe, class, and guard, and all of these things are the basic block of Angular. If you want to learn about Angular, so these are the things you should understand. If you want to develop application, you should understand these things. When I am learning something, I want to focus on one piece of the framework first, and then when I understand that, then I will go to the next one, because that way if you do not have a solid understanding of any of these things, you cannot understand the next one too. So we will divide each section of this into pieces, and then we will discuss everything in detail, so that way you can understand things better. When I say service, you should know what is service and when we use it. When I say module, where we use the module and why we use it. That way you can understand it better. So in this video we will discuss about component. Basically, component means the Angular team, they have divided the website into pieces. Like every piece is called an component. For example, you might have a search input component, you might have a navbar component, you might have a sidebar component, and you may have a content component, or you have a footer, or any other component that you have in your application. These are basically like that, like an HTML5 tag. You have header tag, you have footer, you have a site tag, and all of those things. The same idea is with Angular. You just create component, and if you open the application here, we have already one component in our application. All you are interested in, the first point you should know is the app component.ts. In Angular, you should know that Angular is using the TypeScript. TypeScript is a language it is not a language, yes, it is kind of like language which you can use classes, you can use interface, you can use a lot of cool feature of the ES6. You can write like ES6 code. It is not the ES6, but it will be similar to ES6 or ECMAScript, but it is TypeScript. That's why it is by Microsoft. They use the TypeScript to use the class and a lot of other things. So as you can see, this is the component. This is where you start your file, and every component has the same structure. As you can see, at the top we have our import. We import any other component here. For now, we are importing the component from Angular core. This is one import, and we have in the other section we have decorator, and here is our decorator. We will discuss more about them. And then we have our class by the name of app component. We will write all the logic and all the variables inside the export class here. This is simply like that. And the decorator, if you come here, we have a selector. Selector is like HTML5 tag, app root. We are creating an HTML5 tag by the name of app root, and we can use them anywhere in our application. So if I come to the index.html here, as you can see, we are using the app root like an HTML5 tag. This is where we have created it. This is our component, and this component will have the app root name, and this name is the same as HTML5 tag here. When we use this one, it will call this component here, our app component. So our app component will open the HTML file for us. As you can see, dot means in the same directory open the app component.html. As you can see, here is app component.html, and this is where all our HTML goes here. So as you can see, for our application, we have the logo, welcome page, and we have some links here. So this is the same thing here. If I am gonna remove the image here, I will save the file. As soon as I save the file, I will come here, save some other files too. So let's come here and refresh the page. For now, it should work just fine. It will remove the logo, but as you may know, it did not recompile the file. So if you press enter, sometimes the command line, for me it will just stuck here. That's why it is not working. As you can see, we have removed the logo. We have welcome to app. If I come here, as you can see, welcome to, and it is a variable here that displayed. Where does variable come? If you come to your component here, we have a title property here which has the value of app. You can just write it quick start, save it, and you come here, and it will refresh the page automatically, and it will change that to quick start. As you can see, this is very simple. And this is the component here. We will discuss more about component. For now, this component will come by default in Angular. So that's why you have your app component, and anything you start will start from here. Now the basic idea is here. To recap, you have your app component here, you have your HTML here, and you have your CSS here. In your app component.ts, you will see everything here. The decorator will tell you the selector, the HTML URL, you have the CSS URL. You just need to write it here, and then in the same way you have other components. So you can write the inline, you can write your HTML here also. That's another technique, but we are referencing it in the URL. For now it is just fine, but in the future we will discuss how you can write your inline HTML and inline CSS in the same file. This is a lot cleaner, I think. You have separate HTML, you have separate CSS for each component. For example, if the component is a navbar or a navigation, you have different style. If the component is footer, you have different style, something like that. The CSS will be separate and the HTML will be separate. In the same way, other component will be like this. So in the next video, we will discuss some of the cool extension of Visual Studio Code that you can use for your Angular, and it will make your life a lot easy when you develop any Angular application. So see you in the next video.